The Haunting of Hollow Ridge. Episode 2, The House Watches. The group gathered in the mansion's large living room, each of them visibly tense after reading the mysterious note. The fire in the stone hearth crackled weakly, casting eerie shadows across the room. Nina paced the floor, clutching the note in her hand. "This isn't funny anymore. I don't care how much money they're offering, we should leave." Daniel leaned back in an old armchair, his analytical gaze sweeping the room. "We can't," he said matter-of-factly. "The front door won't open." "I tried right after we read the note." Tom, always the joker, chuckled nervously. "You're kidding, right? A locked door can't hold us in." "Go check it yourself," Daniel replied coolly, folding his arms. Tom stood up, swaggering toward the front door. He grabbed the handle and yanked. It didn't budge. He pulled harder, rattling the doorframe, but it remained locked. "What the hell?" Tom muttered, stepping back. "I told you," Daniel said. "We're stuck here." Grace sat on the edge of the couch, hugging herself. "It's the house. It doesn't want us to leave." "Come on, Grace," Jack slurred slightly, taking another swig from his flask. "It's just a door. We'll figure it out in the morning. Let's just get some sleep. We'll be fine." Nina frowned. "Fine? Jack, we saw something upstairs. A figure. This place is old, creepy, and probably filled with weird drafts and creaky floorboards," Jack interrupted, waving her off. "Look, I'll sleep right here if it makes you feel better. We're not getting out tonight anyway." Nina bit her lip, clearly torn. The logical part of her wanted to believe it was all just a joke or a coincidence, but the unsettling feeling gnawing at her gut wouldn't go away. One by one, the group retired to their respective rooms. The mansion had enough bedrooms for each of them to sleep separately, but the thought of being alone in such an eerie place filled everyone with quiet dread. Nina lay on her bed, staring up at the cracked ceiling. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows. Sleep was impossible. She kept thinking about the figure in the hallway, the locked door, and the strange note. Something wasn't right. She felt like they were being watched. Suddenly, she heard a faint creaking sound just outside her door. Her heart raced as she sat up in bed, straining to listen. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, moved down the hallway. Nina held her breath, her eyes wide. The footsteps stopped outside her room. For what felt like an eternity, there was silence. Then, just as suddenly, the footsteps resumed, fading down the hall. Nina exhaled, her hands shaking. She had to know who, or what, was out there. Grabbing a flashlight from her suitcase, she slipped out of bed and cautiously opened the door. Nina stepped into the hallway, the dim light from her flashlight casting long shadows against the peeling wallpaper. The air felt heavier here, as though something unseen was pressing down on her. She followed the direction of the footsteps, her pulse quickening with every step. As she reached the end of the hall, she saw something odd, a small crack in the wall, barely noticeable in the dim light. Curiosity got the better of her, and she ran her hand over it. With a soft click, a hidden door swung open, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into darkness. Nina's breath caught in her throat. She debated for a moment whether to wake the others, but something compelled her to continue alone. Slowly, cautiously, she descended the stairs. The staircase led to a large, cold basement. The walls were lined with old portraits, faces from another time, their eyes seemingly following her every move. In the center of the room was a large, circular table, upon which lay several dusty journals and a single lit candle, though Nina couldn't recall anyone lighting it. Her hand hovered over one of the journals, but before she could touch it, she heard a voice, soft, indistinct, whispering in a language she couldn't understand. Nina froze. The voice grew louder, but still too faint to make out the words. She spun around, pointing her flashlight at the dark corners of the room, but no one was there. Suddenly, the whispering stopped, replaced by a loud bang from above. Nina gasped, nearly dropping her flashlight. The others, she had to get back to them. She turned and ran up the stairs, her heart pounding. Nina burst into the foyer, breathing heavily. The others were already there, Tom, Grace, Daniel, and Jack, all standing in front of the front door. It was wide open now, swinging gently in the breeze. But none of them moved. "Guys?" Nina asked, confused. "What are you doing?" No one responded. As Nina approached, she realized something was wrong. Their eyes were wide but unfocused, as though they weren't really seeing anything. "Hey!" Nina shouted, shaking Tom by the shoulder. Still, no response. Suddenly, the door slammed shut with a deafening crash. Nina jumped, turning toward the sound. When she looked back, the others were gone. "Tom? Grace?" she yelled, but the house had fallen into eerie silence once again. Nina's heart raced as she looked around the room. The mansion felt alive now, its very walls closing in on her. She was trapped. As Nina wandered through the mansion, frantically searching for the others, she found herself drawn to the parlor room. There, in the middle of the room, was another note, identical to the one they had found before. She hesitated, but then slowly unfolded it. The message was different this time: "You're not alone. The game has just begun." Nina's pulse quickened. The house was playing with them, and it wasn't done yet. End of episode 2.